Now we're going to do some evaluation. So we've got a function. The function is called g. That's the name of the function. The function is g, and it's going to act on numbers that we're going to call x. Now, we know what a function does. A function converts one number into another, possibly different number. So what we're going to do in part A, let's just do A first. We're going to put in an 8, right? We're going to put in the number 8. Right, now these are our x's. These over here, these are the input values. Now we're calling these x's, all right? So the numbers in this box here are x's, and we're specifically concerned with 8 in part A, all right? This is part A. So these are input values. Now we have a rule. The rule is given by this expression right here. Okay, it's a fraction. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put 8 in, and then what are we going to do to it? We're going to do this to it. We're going to subtract 3 from it. We're going to add 6 to it, and then we're going to make the division. And then we're going to spill that number out here in the output box. We're going to save those numbers out there in the output values. So in the middle box, this is our set of computing instructions. So the instructions say to do this. Take the number that comes in, whatever number comes in, call it x. Subtract 3, then add 6, and then make the division. So let's put in the 8. If you put in the 8, we're going to get, I'm going to put in the 8 here. So if I put in the 8, okay, I'll draw it here. If I put in the 8, I'll get an 8 here, and then I'll get an 8 here. So it's going to look like this. I'll say it this way, actually. G of 8 is, all right, 8 minus 3 over 8 plus 6, which is 5 over 14. All right, so what I would do then is I would take this 5 over 14 and store it over here. And that's it. That is the value of that function. So I'm saying this. I'm saying that G of 8 is 5/14. So G converts 8 into 5 over 14. Now in part B, we're going to see what happens to a 3. We're going to put 3 into the function, and we're going to run it through the instructions and see what we get out. Now, I just can't help myself. I'm going to draw this again. So this is our function machine. We have our inputs over here. Then over here, we have the computing instructions. And we store our outputs over in this box. This is the outputs. Okay, so put in a 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop a 3 into our inputs, and we're going to send it through into these instructions here. Now the instructions are subtract 3 from that number, add 6 to that number, and then see what you get out. All right, so put in the 3, put a 3 in here, and a 3 in here, and let's see what happens. So G of 3 is going to be, all right, I'll put the 3 into the top and then a 3 into the bottom, so it's going to look like 3 minus 3 over 3 plus 6. That looks like 0 over 6, which is 0, right? So G of 3 is 0. So I would store my 0 out in that box right there. All right, let's put in a -6 now. So I won't draw the whole rule, but I'll draw the rule right here. You're going to subtract 3, you're going to add 6, and then you'll make the division. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to replace x with -6. So it's going to look like this. If you replace this x with -6, replace all of them. Replace all the x's with -6. So I will get that x I'll replace with -6. This x I'll replace with -6. Oh, this is going to be a problem here. I get -9 over 0, and that is indeterminate. Indeterminate. All right, so we can't put in -6 because nothing comes out. You try to put it, I'll do it over here in this picture. imagine putting over negative 6 here, running it through the instructions, it just gets all jammed up. The machine can't work, and you don't get anything out. So we're going to say this is indeterminate. Well, the top one you may be able to do. You're down 16, you lose 3, so you're down at 19, right? So for this one, we're going to get negative 19.75. This one, you're down 16 a little bit more. You're going to add 6. You get negative 10.75. But now on your calculator, you need to make that computation. So it's going to be negative over negative is positive. All right, so when I do that, I'm getting about 1.837209 ... So I'm going to round off here. Maybe I'll just round off to 2 decimal places. How about 1.8? Well, okay, if I round it off to 2 decimal places, it would be a 1.84. If I round it off to 3 decimal places, okay, it looks like it would be 1.837 if I went to 3. Now in part E, we're going to try to evaluate g of x plus h. So when you put x plus h in, let's draw our picture. All right, so what we're going to do is, in our input values, what we're going to do is put in x plus h. All right, now the rule says what we're going to do is look at the function. Now here's our function. I'll write it up here. G of x is, take the value that you put in and do this to it. Subtract 3, and then take that value and add 6. So whatever I put in, I'm going to replace all the x's with what I put in. All right, so what are we putting in now? We're putting in x plus h. So I'm going to come up to here, and whatever I see, an x, I'm going to replace it with x plus h. This x here, this x over here, this x here is just a placeholder. It's just holding a place for whatever comes in. And what I'm putting in now is x plus h. So I'm going to take that x plus h, I'm going to put it here, g of x plus h. I'm going to put it here, I'm going to put it here. So here's what it's going to look like. G of x plus h is, okay, instead of x, I'll write x plus h minus 3. And then at the bottom, it'll be x plus h plus 6. Now, there's nothing more I can do. That's it. All right?